We're live. So welcome to Tamarah's Closet today. I have a very exciting guest today because this man has created a really incredible journey that has just totally blown me away to be as young as he is. And I actually found him on Twitter. I believe actually someone had messaged me about them. They had been watching my interviews, and it's no wonder since he has created a fan base on Twitter of over 1 million followers. So that is just unbelievable in itself. And so I got this message from someone, and then I started doing some research and listening to his music. And I really, really did love his beautiful voice, as well as his very professionally edited videos that I was seeing. And so I went to his site, did a little research, and I just knew he was a perfect guest for my show. So I contacted him, and here we are today. So I have to tell you a little bit. He has such an amazing story, because while he had a rough start coming into this world, he was premature and was near death. He fought that battle, and he has not stopped going since. And he actually started school at a really, really young age. I'm going to have him talk about that, like at 2.5 years old. And by the time he was 13, he was writing music. And after only a year of college, he had written like over 100 songs with over 5 million views now on his YouTube videos and this huge fan base on social media. So not only is he a singer and a songwriter, he's also a music producer with his very own 5,000 square foot studio, which that just blows me away. So I have to say that if this man does not inspire you today to go after your dreams, then I don't think anyone will. So I want to introduce you today to this amazingly talented singer, songwriter, and producer, Julian Camarena from Arizona. So hey, hello, Julian. So I know you're still with me.
Yeah, hi, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so great. You've just impressed me so much, Julian. It's just beyond words. I really have been taken away by all the research I've done. So I want you to go ahead and just tell. I know you were premature and you had to stay in an incubator, I read, to rebuild, or to get your lungs rebuilt. And obviously you don't remember this, but I'm just curious as to when you heard this story from your parents, did this have any influence or impact on you pursuing your dreams at such a young age?
You know what? It's funny because it seems like my parents always tell me that I start everything early. Like you mentioned, I started school early. I was born early. So, I mean, it's just, I guess I'm just a very impatient person. I even wrote a song called I Don't Want to Wait. So, I mean, I guess it's just, I don't know, it's just how I am as a person, but it definitely influenced me, I guess.
I think it did. And I read you were named after the town you were born in San Diego, Julian, but you call Arizona your home. What makes Arizona more your home?
Well, I lived in Juliantown for maybe a little bit less than a year before moving to Colorado for a few years, and then to Arizona when I was around 4 or 5 years old. And this is more or less where I grew up. Spent most of my life here. I'm still here. So, I have all my childhood friends here that I've had since I was a little kid. So this is definitely very much my hometown.
Great. So, but you were in Colorado for a while?
Yeah, we lived in Denver for a couple of years. I'm not a big fan of the cold, so I'm really glad we moved. Unfortunately, we moved to like a complete opposite place. Over here it gets like 120. So I don't know if,
But you like Arizona now? That's still obviously.
Yeah, I've gotten extremely used to the heat, and I think it's just the first. And it's funny because we moved here during the summer, and that's when it's the worst. So when we moved here, it was a bit of a shock because it was like 100 degrees outside. and we were used to such cold weather. But after a while, you get used to it, and it's like nothing. As long as you have air conditioning, you're good to go.
Yeah. Well, I've been there, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. And actually, there was a time period in my life where that was where I wanted to live. And it's still on the top of my list of somewhere I'd like to eventually be. And I literally fell in love with Arizona. So the heat didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's a desert, but it's it's one of the most beautiful deserts you're gonna find out there. So.
Yeah, it really is. I wanted you to talk, because I know you grew up in a very creative environment, because you had told me your father, or I read your father was an artist, and I actually, I think that I have met him on Twitter now, if that was the right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
he's on Twitter. So.
Yeah, and I really like his art, and so I was really impressed, because I love, I love the landscape in Arizona, and I just enjoyed his artwork. And he had some of horses, and I'm a big horse person. So, yeah. But you're a middle child with an older brother and one younger brother. Yeah. I'm curious as to how was it growing up in that environment with an artist and with your siblings, and did they share any artistic abilities or?
Yeah, I think pretty much my whole family is extremely artistic. My older brother, he does a lot of artistic stuff with different. He's into CGI and 3D modeling and stuff like that. And my younger brother, he's very artistic too. He does sculpting, and he got obsessed with doing origamis when he was younger. So he would create all these crazy things. I still don't know how he does it, but I mean, he could do it when he was like 5 years old. So. I mean, we grew up in a very creative household, and it definitely influenced and pushed us to be more creative in our stuff. And it actually, my dad, he still gives me advice on my music, even though he's not a musician or a singer. But there's a lot of similarities in music and art. With music, there has to be contrast, just like with artwork. And so he's really able to, give me good feedback, give me good advice. And actually, when I was in high school, I was more known for being a painter than a musician, than a singer. I did play in the school jazz band, but I was more known for being an artist because I would paint a lot. So I think if I didn't end up pursuing my career as a musician or as a singer, I probably would have pursued it as a painter.
Right. Well, how old were you when you first showed like any kind of artistic ability? Was it even before high school? Before that?
Well, I have a painting when I was about 2 years old, hanging up in my room. Maybe I'll post a picture of it soon. But yeah, I've been painting. I've been doing artistic stuff since I was a little baby. My dad would just give me, a paintbrush and a tiny little canvas, and I would just go to work on it.
Yeah. But did you sing, show any interest in singing when you were little like that?
I really didn't get into music heavily until I was about 8 years old. Before that, I wanted to be a basketball player, but I realized I wasn't very good. And I wasn't very tall either at the time. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, I really got into music when I was about 8 years old. I started playing the alto saxophone. And I played that for quite a while until I was about 13. Then I started getting into piano. And during that time is when I started, actually writing songs and, putting lyrics to the music that I would put together and stuff. And then that's kind of where it started. And then it just branched off from there.
Right. Now, I was curious, though, because you started in your bio, it said you started school at like 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
Now, what made them start you so early? Was there a reason?
Actually, it wasn't their choice. My brother was already in school, and I was kind of stuck home alone. And, with my mom and stuff, and I got bored. I mean, I'm the same way now. If I'm not doing something, if I'm not working at something, I just go crazy because I have to consistently and continuously be busy. And, I don't want to get left behind. Like I said, everything, I have to start early. So
But see, I think that's great. I mean, I know it's probably hard for people, your peers, to maybe understand who don't have your same ambition, but I understand it.
Yeah.
I think anytime you're a big dreamer, it takes other big dreamers to really understand the devotion that it requires to focus.
Yeah, and, everyone's different. Everyone has, a different ambitious level or is passionate about, one thing or another, but that's just how it is.
Oh yeah. Well, after you had a year of college and you went back to Arizona, and I read that you went to W.P. Carey School of Business,
Mm-hmm.
and you were also pursuing the music career and going to the business school. How did you manage juggling both school and pursuing your music career?
Well, honestly, I don't know. Because I spent a lot of time, while I was at school, I wasn't really too much into, going crazy like most people would while they're in college. While I was at school, I was very focused. I did my work, and then once I was done, I came home and, started working on music. So I would spend I try to schedule most of my classes so they were early in the morning, so that I had time in the afternoon to work on my music. And the good thing is at that point, I kind of already knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to pursue a career as a singer, as a musician, just entertainer. So I had a goal in mind. It was just a matter of how to get there. So I knew, I was, a lot of people ask me, why did you go to college? Was it kind of just like a fallback just in case you don't make it into your music career? But it's, in all honesty, it's pretty much, I saw it as just a tool to help me pursue my career and pursue my passion, what I wanted to do. I developed a lot of discipline while I was in college. And I, one thing in college you do, well, if you're a good student at least, is you read a lot. So I read a lot, and I continued reading after I graduated from college. And that really helped me to kind of learn more and get better at my own craft. So that's more or less.
Yeah. Do you read a lot of personal development books now? Do you read a lot of books like that now?
I did in college. I read a lot of like Carnegie books, Andrew Carnegie books, a lot of those type of books, a lot of people skill books. As a musician, as a songwriter, it's extremely important to understand other people, because you're writing the songs for other people to listen to. You have to be able to relate to them, and also helps in business and helps in a lot of other stuff. But during college, I read a lot of those types of books. After college, most of the books were related to learning how to produce, how to mix. How to learn, all the softwares you needed to know in order to produce music and to mix music. And I also got into learning, nowadays you have to do everything yourself. So I learned web design, I learned video production, I learned, you name it. If anything that had to do with music or pursuing a career in music is pretty much what I learned.
Wow, that's amazing. But you did get a business degree too?
Yeah.
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 So I just can't believe all that you have learned. And you wrote over 100 songs by the end of your first year in college. Mm-hmm. So what was the inspiration behind those songs? Are some of those the ones that I've been seeing on YouTube? Or
yeah, there was a few of them. A lot of my earlier songs were I wrote when I was 14 and up. And I released some of those. Like I Don't Want to Wait, that was the first song that I released with the music video. That one I wrote when I was young. And a lot of the inspiration is pretty much, a lot of it's based on either people I meet or experiences I have in life, or just just random stuff that comes to my head. It could be fantasies, it could be dreams, it could be whatever. But yeah.
Well, what comes first for you? Now I know when you first started writing, you wrote, you didn't have lyrics. You did that later, but now when an idea comes to you, maybe you're inspired by an event in your life, is it just the music, just the tune, the melody come to you first, or do the lyrics typically come to you first?
Well, it depends. Nowadays, my studio is about an hour or so away from my house, so I spend a lot of time in the car. So I have my phone and I have my recorder there on my phone, and a lot of times I just start off with a melody that I have in my head, and then when I get to the studio, I usually take it to the piano and then build it from there. But I think if you start out with a good melody for a song, it's a lot easier to build a production around it instead of building the music and then trying to fit lyrics and trying to fit melody into it. That's just how I work. I mean, there's different producers and there's different songwriters that work different ways. Some of them, they just build a beat first and then they start singing or rapping over it. But I like to start with a solid melody, something catchy, and kind of just build from there. It's a lot easier for me.
So the melody comes before the lyrics with you, really?
A lot of the times, yeah. I have a melody and I just put random words to it because I know what I want the melody to be, but I don't want to think too much about the lyrics just yet, so I don't lose the melody in my head. So I just stick in random words. They don't even have to make sense. They don't even have to, not necessarily even be in English. It could just be gibberish. And then I form the lyrics and then where I want to go with the song. I usually like to have some sort of theme and then build from there.
Now I know, because I know there was one, I believe it was the Surrender song. Well, there was one song that you did where you had a photograph, and I meant to blow it up, and I don't have it with me. You were practicing some stunts, or actually was that for Surrender?
No, it was actually we were exploring some stuff for an upcoming music video. Okay. It didn't really go too well. We had like a pulley system, but we got first of all, we put the harness on wrong the first time we did it. So it was like really just yanking up in there. So it was extremely uncomfortable. So we had to get a new harness, and after a few tests, what I did is I let my little brother test it out first, just in case, just to be safe, and just in case anything happened. But no, eventually we got it working, and we're trying different things. We're trying to be creative with the videos and stuff, and my brother, he does a lot of special effects, and we have an extremely large green screen, so we have enough space where we can be creative in what we're gonna do and stuff. And we always want to give people something a little bit different instead of just the typical music video kind of point and shoot sort of thing. Even if it doesn't turn out extremely well in the end, it's at least good to try.
So you work with your brother a lot then?
Yeah, I work with my family a lot. They're heavily involved in my music and stuff, and they're a huge support. They're very supportive of everything I do, and we've kind of been able to, especially with my brother. It's great that he actually, it's funny because he has a degree in biology,
wow.
But he does video production. But I guess it helps a lot because he kind of creates different creatures and models different creatures and then animates them and stuff. So I guess it's important to know some sort of biology. But yeah, I work with them, and it's great to work with family because they're just as passionate, they're just supportive, and they're the most reliable people you'll have on your team.
Wow, but that's amazing, and that's great that you have that kind of support, and because that's probably one of the hardest things I think for a lot of people is when they don't have the support, or even it's not even so much support or understanding from their family or friends. So you're pretty blessed to have that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's great. Well, now there's someone I read that it sounds like he was a bit of a mentor, I believe, to you, and he was he was an engineer and a musician and producer from Indiana, and it sounds like you learned a lot from him. I believe his name is Jim Reisky. Am I saying it right?
Yeah. Jim Reisky. He was. I met him. He's one of the first people I met related to kind of music once I came back from San Diego to Arizona after my freshman year in college. I met him at a studio. He was kind of just working on some stuff. And you know, being able to work with him, he really gave me the creative freedom to kind of do what I want. You know, he just, if I needed to know how to do something, you know, he would teach me, but he would very much just let me kind of take control and build up the song the way I wanted to. You know, even though at that point he had a lot more experience than I did, so he could have easily just said, you know, this is how you do it, this is how you do it. But instead, you know, he let me be creative. He let me, you know, explore different options, and I learned a lot of the basic production. You know, there's a lot to learn when it comes to songwriting, like structure, especially with pop music. You know, when you're building a song, there's different chord progressions. You know, so there's the proper chord progressions for a song, and I learned a lot of the basic stuff from him, and that really helped me to kind of continue it so that I could eventually, you know, do the whole production and mix it and everything on my own.
Right. Now, do you still mentor with him now, or?
Yeah, I still keep in touch with him. You know, once in a while I have him in the studio, and you know, he cuts some guitar on my tracks and stuff. You know, he's a great musician and stuff. So you know, once in a while I collaborate with some stuff on him, or some stuff with him, and yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you have other mentors or people that you, even if it's not someone you know personally, but people that you follow that kind of help keep you inspired, or?
There's, you know, I've had a few different people that I've had a chance to work with that have inspired me. Another one is a producer by the name of Damon Elliott. I worked on my song called Latinize with him. You know, and I think whenever you work with someone different, they kind of, you know, they rub off on you some sort of, you know, either the way they approach production of a song or songwriting or something like that. You usually pick up a few things here and there. And also, you know, I learn a lot just from, you know, from different mixers online. A lot of them post different videos, tutorials. It's amazing what you can find online nowadays. There's just so much you can learn without actually having to be in a certain place or you know, actually physically be there learning from them, because there's so much information out there.
Right. Now you work with all genres of music. Was jazz a big influence? I thought I had read that. Yeah.
Jazz music. I think the biggest thing I picked up from jazz music was I used to love to improvise and love to solo, and I think that kind of really helped me get used to coming up with different melodies for you know, for my own songs. Whenever there was a solo option for when we would ever have a performance, I would always want to take it, because I never liked playing someone else's song. I always liked coming up with my own songs. And that's the reason why I don't do too many covers. I don't even know if I have any covers on YouTube at the moment.
I didn't see any, so I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I like doing my own music. You know, allows me to, you know, to be more creative and express who I am. And a lot of the times, you know, other people's songs don't necessarily fit who you are. And so I like to, you know, be able to create it, and then that way, you know, my fans and everyone who's listening gets a chance to kind of see exactly, they get to see all of me as an artist instead of my interpretation of someone else's work.
Right. Well, who would you say you got, I don't know, a lot of your ambition from? I mean, is it, because I know your whole family's supportive, but
yeah. Well, you know what, my dad, you know, he's a big influence. You know, being successful in the art industry is extremely hard. I mean, that's why they have the term starving artist, because it's you know, it's very hard to be successful And he's had so many opportunities, because of working hard and doing what he does, and that kind of pushed me to want to pursue something that was not necessarily easy for everyone to do. I mean, pursuing a career in the music industry is one of the hardest professions out there to be successful and to make a good living at. And also being able to pursue something that you're very passionate about too. I love music, and being able to make a career out of it is just it's even better. And also, also my brothers push me to. We're all very competitive. We're all very supportive, but we're all very competitive too. And so we support each other, and we push each other to kind of work harder and be more disciplined and stuff.
Now, do you like to dance?
Do I like to dance? It depends. I mean, it depends on the situation. I like dancing, and I'm not too shy about it. I don't know if I'm the best dancer, but I do like to dance, even if it's just not crazy dancing, flailing my arms or something. But I enjoy dancing.
Yeah. Well, I just wondered, because I don't see a lot of that on your videos, but just wondered if you were going to move into that at all, or.
I explored it. Maybe eventually I might. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask you, because I read, you're the #1 producer and music producer in Arizona, and that just amazes me. So I wanted you to tell the viewers kind of how that came about and how you made that happen. How'd you gather the resources and the knowledge?
I'm the only music producer in Arizona, so that's what I'm #1.
Okay.
No, I just, a lot of it is just, building your name. A lot of, social media helped a lot. Arizona, it's not Los Angeles. There's not millions of people with millions of followers, on social media. So I've been able to really sort of stand out here. And it's just a matter of getting better at your craft, and always continuing to learn. A lot of people, they feel like they can just teach themselves and they'll get really good. But what if yourself sucks? So why would you want to teach yourself? So I think it's always better to continue learning, and never get complacent and never get satisfied with where you're at, so that you can continuously push yourself and get yourself better.
But did you have help getting all set up with your studio and everything, like getting advice on that, or? Yeah.
I mean, I had getting my studio set up was, it took a while. It was definitely a longer process, but eventually, I got everything set up. A lot of stuff, I learned, like I said, I read a lot of books, so I learned a lot from that in terms of getting things set up. And, having to learn to be your own engineer, your own producer, your own mixer, everything, it really helps in kind of getting things done a lot faster.
Right. Well, it just amazes me that you've done all this. And it's Dancer's your latest song, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you have plans have you already got one in the that you're working on now for the future, or?
Yeah, I have a large number of songs that I have more or less ready, and also I might be doing some collaborations with some other people. So I'm kind of just getting things together for an album, so that I have. I'm very critical of my own music. I don't want to release something unless I know for sure people are gonna like it. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I have a lot of new music. It's just a matter of deciding which ones I want to share with the world. So
you do have the plans to have an album coming up, and that's kind of where I was going with it, I guess.
Yeah. I want to, I might have an EP released before an album, but there's definitely going to be an album out this year, and then touring and all the likes.
Okay. Well, what are some of the projects you have in your company going on right now? Like, do you have projects that you're doing that you're helping other people?
Once in a while, there's some projects that they come by. A lot of what I'm doing right now is more. I keep extremely busy with with my own music at the moment, and so my studio more or less at the time is it's more of a private studio. But once in a while, we take on different projects and stuff. But right now, it's more focused on getting some of my own stuff together at the moment.
Right. Well, if someone wanted to, they have a great voice and they wanted to produce a song, what would you tell them? What do they need to do first? Because they don't have equipment to do it. Where could they hire you? Where would you come in?
Yeah, I mean, if they want, they shoot me an email, send me a sample of something. I'd be more than happy to listen to it. I'm always listening to, I get tracks sent to me on a daily basis. I listen to them, and I have no problem giving feedback or whatever. A lot of my fans support me, so yeah, I have no problem, supporting them and helping them in one way or another. But yeah, I mean, nowadays, it doesn't take a lot to produce a song. I mean, all you really need is a computer and a little keyboard, and you can produce an entire song. Nowadays, they have drums, they have everything on your keyboard. So, that's one option. Another option is, to find, a studio that's, locally, visit them. And, a lot of studios, they're very accommodating. That's what I did when I was first starting out. Yeah, I visited pretty much every single studio that I could find in Arizona. I familiarized myself with sort of the music scene. And you get a chance to talk with producers, and if you like one of the producers, you can work with them or learn from them, intern. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different options. The biggest thing is just getting yourself out there, and then once you're out there, then you kind of can figure out where to go from there.
Well, you've become such a good marketer for yourself, and I think that's one thing that a lot of people just don't know how to do. And obviously, because you've got over 1 million followers. Where did you learn your marketing from, and what can you share for other people who need to get themselves out there and get themselves noticed?
I think a lot of people underestimate the power of actually connecting with people. It goes back to a lot of the books that I read. Like I said, while I was in college, a lot of them are books that help you, understand people, connect with people, and being able to build a relationship with a few people can turn into more people, and more people, and then they share your stuff, and if they like it, it can spread, and you can help build your audience that way. It's just a matter of building that initial fan base. Eventually you get those super fans who want to build a fan club for you and are extremely supportive of you, and it kind of just branches off from there. So you have to take the time to talk with your fans, to talk with people, build those relationships, and then it'll grow from there.
Right. Do you spend a lot of time on social media?
Yeah, I spend, especially in the beginning, I would spend pretty much, even now, I check my phone like every couple minutes.
Yeah.
It's like an addiction. But I'm consistently on social media. I'm on Twitter. I got into Instagram not too long ago. And I'm on Facebook once in a while. Mostly on Twitter, and I have Snapchat. Snapchat's another great way to kind of connect and talk with your fans. It's a lot more personal, and same with Twitter. That's the one reason why I love about Twitter is you can really, you can talk with your fans. That's what's great about it. You can engage with the people that like your music, and that's that wasn't necessarily possible before the whole social media craze. So that's what I love about social media, is being able to connect with your fans and being able to talk with different people. And, you know, you can talk with people that are halfway around the world, you know. You know, I've been able to build friendships with people in you know, South Africa and Asia, Europe, pretty much, you know, even some countries I've never even heard of before. So it's just, it's, you know, it's amazing what you can do nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I'm just amazed that you did it on Twitter, because Twitter, you know, I'm on Twitter. I started mostly on Facebook, and then I'm really learning Twitter. But you have to, you can't say a lot on Twitter. You know, you have
you have to get it out in just a few words. But I mean, I'm not that big of a talker anyways, so I mean, it's good for me.
That's good. Well, yeah, I know you also advertise for other people and help promote their brand. You talked a little bit about that, but you've worked with a lot of varieties of companies, and I read it, even large companies like Warner Brothers. What was your experience with them? Can you talk about that? And
yeah, you know, the good thing about you know, once you build up a huge social media, you get a whole bunch of different opportunities, you know, especially as you get you know, more out there with your music and stuff. You know, you get opportunities to work with a huge variety of you know, larger brands, smaller brands. You know, I've worked with, you know, anywhere from Warner Brothers, M&M's, LG to you know, to smaller app developers or people you know, trying to get their new social media out there. And you know, it's really great being able to kind of see something before it, you know, hits big. You know, there could be an app that, you know, they're just barely starting to get out. You know, eventually a couple months later, you realize that you know, it's one of the top apps in the App Store. So being able to work with these you know, with all these different brands, which is another crazy thing about social media nowadays. You know, back then you had to be signed with a huge label in order to work with a lot of these brands and stuff. So now, you know, social media has kind of leveled the playing field. And, you know, me as an independent artist, I have had, you know, countless opportunities that I probably wouldn't have had without it. So it's, you know, it's been a great experience for sure.
oh, absolutely. And I mean, you're taking advantage, and I've talked about this a lot in some of the posts I've made, and just the opportunities I've had through social media. It still amazes me, the people that aren't seeing the opportunity that they have.
Yeah.
You know, I guess they're using it more for social media, when it's a playing field of an endless possibilities for career opportunities that we never had before. So I think
I think a lot of, you know, a lot of the larger brands are starting to catch on. You know, they're starting to see the value in social media, and, you know, just how valuable it is. So I think, you know, everyone, you know, all those people that are, you know, taking the time to build up their social media presence, and, you know, make a name for themselves in whatever they do, whether it's singing, you know, acting, modeling, artwork, doesn't matter. You know, they're going to really see the opportunity in it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I think it's exciting. So I want to ask you, where would you say, Julian, that your focus is more concentrating? Are you wanting to pursue more of the singing career side, and maybe even start doing more live performances, or do you want to pursue the producer side?
I'm looking to do both. I mean, I'm looking to, you know, continue producing, writing music, as well as, you know, getting out there. It's pretty much just a matter of managing my time. But, you know, I love performing. You know, I love singing for people. Being able to see the response and, you know, how they react live is great. I mean, you know, making music, you don't necessarily get to hear, you know, when they download a song, you don't get to see the reaction on their face when they listen to it. But, you know, when you're performing for them live, you get to see the reaction, you get to see the energy, you get to see how they, you know, how they really connect with your music and stuff. And I think that's, you know, that's amazing.
Yeah, I do too. So it sounds like you do want to do more live, you know, move into that. Yeah. I think that's that instant gratification when you can see their response, you know, their immediate response. Now, I saw this week, I saw this picture on you in your Facebook page, and you were actually singing the national anthem for a charity back in April, a charity event. I was curious as to how that went, because that is a really tough song to sing.
Yeah, you know what? I think the key to that song, and I did prepare for it beforehand, because I don't want to forget the lyrics, first of all, because I know it's, you know, that's what it's known for, is singers, you know, either butchering it or forgetting the lyrics to the songs. But it's just a matter of finding the right key for your voice. And you know, once you have a good starting off point, then everything else goes fine. But that whole event, you know, the whole event was great. You know, I was asked to, you know, if I wanted to sing the national anthem for a local food bank in Cave Creek, which is where I live. And you know, I was more than happy to do so, and it was, you know, it was fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just, I mean, it's a great song. Did anybody record you doing that? Do you know, or?
I mean, there were some cameras, so I assume so. Maybe I'll look for it. Maybe there's a video of it. Maybe on YouTube. I don't know. I'll have to check. But I think I sang it all right. I mean, I don't think I butchered it or anything.
Oh, I doubt you. I'm sure you did great. I think you should post it on social media if you can.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. I'll try to find it.
Yeah, and I'd love to put that in the blog article about you, because I think that's great. I really do. And so I have to ask you this thing, because I am a huge dog lover, and I've seen several, and a lot of my social media contacts are big animal lovers, and I've seen several pictures of you with your border collie. Did she just hang out with you a lot while you're working, or?
Yeah, you know, at my house, she's constantly right there. She's with me 24/7, and you know, I take her running a lot, you know, in the afternoons or in the early mornings. Border collies love to run, so you know, she's extremely active. You know, I wish I could take her to my studio with me. I guess I could. Maybe, you know, maybe I'll take her with me. But yeah, I spend a lot of time with her. She's, you know, she's a sweet dog. And then I have two other dogs too. I have a German Shepherd and a Doberman.
Oh my God!
So I also have, you know, got a few chickens too recently. I
saw your baby chicks. I saw your baby
so
chicks.
they're starting to get pretty big. You know, hopefully we'll be getting some eggs from them soon. And yeah, I mean, I love animals, especially dogs. I'm definitely a dog person.
Well, that's awesome. I had a border collie and a German Shepherd, so I know what great dogs they are. They really are. So that's really cool. I saw so many pictures of you with her, and I knew you were very passionate about that little border collie. I could tell. So, and obviously, I just had to ask you this, because I know we're going to be wrapping up here, but you are obviously a goal setter. Where do you see yourself the next 3 or 4 years? What is it looking like for you, or do you look that far ahead?
Oh yeah, I'm always just looking ahead. I'm always looking ahead, but I'm focusing on, you know, the current time. But I have a lot of goals in mind. You know, I want to get, you know, hopefully within the next 3 or 4 years, you know, I'll have a couple tours under my belt. I'll get a chance to travel to all over the world. There's a lot of places that I want to visit. I know I have fans, you know, a whole bunch of different places in, you know, the Middle East and South Africa, Asia, Europe. You know, I would love to go out there and perform for each one of them. You know, I'm looking to get more music out there, a lot more music out there. And that's, you know, that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Well, that's awesome, because I really have enjoyed your music, and your videos are just really, really nice and very professional. And so I've been sharing them a lot, and I will be putting those in my blog article about you as well. So you certainly are an inspiration, Julian, and I have to commend you for anyone who has the courage to do what you're doing. I think it's great. And I hate to wrap this up today, but I just have to tell you how it's been a really pleasure and an honor to have you here today, because you are an inspiration, and I hope you know that. And I hope you really let that inspire you to keep moving forward. because I can't believe how ambitious you are, and it really is like a breath of fresh air. And I think you're here to inspire a lot of people. And so I want you to continue to do that, and because you're clearly going after your dreams. And you know, being a big dreamer myself, I know the sacrifices that you have to make to do that. And even though we don't see them as sacrifices, it is a bit of a sacrifice. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a dreamer. You only got one life, so might as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I commend you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
And for the path that you're paving for dreamers of all ages to follow in your footsteps and to give people hope. So that's really powerful. So I hope you will keep that up. And yeah. So is there anything else you wanted to share with?
No, I mean, thanks for having me on your show. I had a lot of fun. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and yeah, that's looks like something got disconnected. Looks like we got disconnected, but if you can't hear me, thanks for having me on your show. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again.